listening to the Scoop Slam Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Scoop Slam Podcast. We are back. A short little vacation. We went out, we sniffed the roses. We watched the Lakers get their eyes beat in by the Oklahoma City Thunder. Luka, please take my hamstring, bro. I don't need it. You need it. I don't. But as always, we got some wrestling to talk about. AEW Dynamite, WWE SmackDown, and Raw. WWE Backlash is this weekend, and Mr. Slam himself has a Scoop 5 for us. So we're going to go ahead and hop right into everything. As always, I'm one half of your hosting team, Mr. Scoop, otherwise known as Micah. On the other end of the call is the historian of the Scoop Slam podcast. He is Mr. Slam himself. It's Ryan.
Yo, Micah. We are not being released. We are not losing our podcasting deal. And we are not taking any pay cuts. And we're here to scoop it, slam it, and talk a little wrestling this week. Micah, how you been the last couple weeks? I know we've been off.
I've been fresh. I'm ready to go. I took a week off. I didn't watch any wrestling for about a week until I had to. And then I perused a little NXT and Dynamite and just put some feelers out everywhere.
Okay.
But it was nice. You know, I watched some playoffs. Lakers won the first round. That was nice. Was not expecting that. KD is trash.
He played one game.
Well, yeah, but you know, he should have been over there coaching them guys, and he had to wave bye when Ayton got ejected. That didn't sit right with me. So he's not a leader. But other than that, honestly, I just kind of chilled out, went to some graduations. It's that time of the year, so congrats to everybody who is graduating. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, took a little vacation. Of course, you know, we had our 2 weeks off. And yeah, man, watch a few documentaries here and there. Maybe we'll talk about it on the pod coming up next couple weeks with depending on how slow the weeks are. But yeah, man, it was just good to unplug for a little while, to get that WrestleMania fog out of our brain, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's time to get right back into it, Ryan. I know you got a Scoop 5 for us today. There's a lot going on in the behind the scenes of professional wrestling. But Ryan, go ahead and lay the first one on me. Pause.
Well, Micah, we had some yearly spring cleaning. It's been a tradition in, you know, the World Wrestling Federation. They've been doing it for a very long time. Usually at the WrestleMania, they clean house, Micah. And we didn't get a chance to talk about the ones that happened 2 weeks ago. We're not really going to talk about that on this pod because we're talking about the now. We're going to hit you with the current Scoop 5 and the recent releases that came out. I think it was right before, what was it, Saturday? I think it was Saturday. But we had JC Mateo getting released. Micah, are you surprised about that?
Honestly, I don't think so. I mean, respectfully, he was kind of dead on arrival. I don't really think they did anything to make him interesting. He kind of came out in very weird gear, and they never gave him new gear. And look, man, the MFT stuff has been dead for a while. People didn't want to admit it, or they don't want to admit it once the guys get released. But then during the year, when the MFTs and the Wyatt Six are on their TV screen, they're not watching, or it's, oh my God, dude, this MFT Wyatt Six feud is horrible and it's lasted for so long. That's all you saw on the internet. Then when they release these guys, everybody's crying, and you know, it's just like I said on TikTok a couple days ago, it's fake outrage. There's a select few that I'm like, okay, I understand why you could be mad about this. Maybe they could have done more with them. But JC Mateo, Tonga Loa, and a lot of those other guys, they don't fall into that category.
Yeah, just JC Mateo, he looked like a beast in Lucha Underground. But of course, that was 11 years ago, 12 years ago, I think, at this point. But when we finally saw him in WWE, Micah, it just didn't really fit. You know, he's like 5'9", 5'8". He was already well into his 40s. I figured they would have did something with him without the MFT tagline, maybe a solo run, but they really didn't give him that much of a shot on the main roster. So yeah, not even a year after he got signed, he was unceremoniously released. But it ties into our next release, Mike. Your favorite, the infamous Tonga Loa. You surprised about that?
Maybe a little bit, just because him and Tama obviously have the tag team that they could have, maybe done more with. I think he's a fan favorite just because he continuously messed things up, but at the same time, I'm not crying over spilled milk if we're being honest.
And his last TV appearance, he had did you see when he tried to roll on the table and he actually rolled off of it?
I did
Did you
see
see
that,
that?
yeah.
You couldn't script it any better. That's his last appearance.
I mean, how long was the guy in the company? Like a year, and how many moments? We got the failed debut, the failed low blow, holding the title, I think upside down, the
That was
table
funny.
thing. Like
Yeah.
it's just
When he
what a
tried to
guy.
ram Cody Rhodes into the turnbuckle, he missed it.
That's
Ran
right.
him into the ropes instead. Yeah, the infamous Tonga Loa. I got a soft spot for him, man, because just the botches they weren't like dangerous, but they were very hilarious. So we'll miss Tonga Loa on this podcast. You know what his name was in TNA?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think we've talked about it in the past.
It was Micah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he shared your name. He shared
I
your
should
name.
know that.
Yeah, well, they cut Micah, and the last two names that came out that everybody kind of raised eyebrows about was Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston mutually agreeing to part ways with the company. And yeah, man, a lot of people had a problem with this, Micah, but I think I got two questions for you. One, where do you think the New Day lands all time when it comes to WWE tag teams? Let me just hit you with that first, Mike.
Well, I think all time. Now, if we're talking tag teams, are we talking a specific like Kofi and Xavier, or are we just
They
talking
had
about the
no.
group?
Well, hold up now. They had a free bird rule, so you could pick any two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if we're going off that regard, then I'll count all three. I'm gonna say probably top five. Obviously, just WWE wise, you have to throw the Usos in there. Um, Solely accolades, main eventing WrestleMania. It just, the Usos got to be in there. I'd probably throw the Hart Foundation in there as well. Um, the Steiner brothers are great, but I don't know that they made such an impact in WWF, but maybe. Uh, the Road Warriors obviously have to be in there. And then, yeah, I could probably see the New Day fitting somewhere in there. Respectfully, like I know it's gonna be a hot take, right? But the New Day is over the Shield. The Shield may mean more in terms of the main event
Yeah.
scene and how that was shaped afterwards. But for what the New Day actually accomplished as a faction, it means so much more than what the Shield accomplished in their like year and a half to 2 year run.
I think New Day is definitely top two. I put them in that two range. Usos number one. Just by the longevity they were together, Micah, and the reactions they got continuously throughout their run. They of course got to host WrestleMania. They had one of the most talked about storylines at WrestleMania with Kofi Mania, and New Day was a pivotal part of that mid 2010s era for the WWE. It made a lot of those Raws watchable. I know a lot of people don't like the New Day; it's not their cup of tea. But at 2015, 2016, WWE Raw, we were starving. We wanted something entertaining. They were, for the most part, the most entertaining thing on the show. But Micah, they got their own cereal, Bootios. That was on the shelf right next to the John Cena Fruity Pebbles. Who else can say they had their own cereal as a WWE superstar? Who else can say that?
Like it's like you said, them and Cena.
That's it. Yeah. So I think history's gonna look back on them fondly. But Micah, how can we miss you if you don't go away? It was time. When the heel run that they had didn't stick, didn't really get the booking that it probably deserved. It was time. They had nothing else to do. They were just wandering around with Grayson Waller.
Yeah. I feel the same way, and that's why like I understand why there is backlash towards
Backlash.
WWE at Backlash. We'll get to that later. Um I understand why because it is kind of scummy for them to go to these guys that have been there and paid their dues and done so much for WWE for the past 15 to 20 years to be like, "Hey, we don't really think you're worth this much."
Mm.
And I
Hold up now.
commend.
Don't jump the gun now. Don't step on my next question, Michael. Let me hit you with it real quick. Hold up. Stay right
Well,
there. Stay
well, I
right there.
can.
Okay, well, land your plane. Land your plane.
Well, I was gonna say I can kind of backtrack this into where I'm going,
Okay, go
but
ahead.
before that, like you said, with the storyline stuff, whenever they don't have anything for them, because we talked about the New Day turn was one of the best moments of
Yeah,
WWE,
yeah.
and that really culminated with a match against the War Raiders at WrestleMania 41. Like, are we for real?
Yeah,
So
it needed Big E for that.
yeah, and it didn't have Big E. They didn't put enough stock into him. And like you said, if there's nothing left for you to do, and there's really not, they're not going to put Kofi in the main event scene at this point. They've got all this young talent coming in. Same with Xavier. It's time. And I know that sucks, but the term WWE lifer is a very new gen thing. That's not a thing that has been around forever. So when everybody's like, "Oh, I thought Kofi would be like a WWE lifer," like, brother, he's been there 18 years. That's about the WWE lifer limit,
Yeah,
unless you are a Undertaker, John Cena, somebody like that. Like it's the same with Dolph and Sheamus and guys like that. 18 to 20 is a crazy time to last in the company. They accomplish so much. And especially with this new crop of talent that you see, guys like Trick, like Oba, even the ladies like Lash Legend, which some of that can also fall on Bianca and Sasha for another time. But Kofi is a trailblazer in that regard.
yeah, yeah. And then he just towards the end there was really nothing else you could do with Kofi except be a gatekeeper to like the mid card maybe. But even at that point, we've seen what Kofi Kingston can do. And we got so many of these new guys coming in. There's only so much TV time, Micah. We gotta get our ads in. So we don't want anybody to lose their job here on the podcast, but we gotta be realistic. As a company, we're not running Make a Wish, and guys aren't guaranteed a job for life. That's just the way it is. They got as much equity out of the New Day as they possibly could. The New Day outkicked their coverage. The New Day exceeded their ceiling. They weren't supposed to be in that spot. They weren't supposed to be the second greatest tag team of all time. Micah, if you don't, if I we got younger listeners out there, New Day started out as a kind of like a pseudo type preacher positivity type gimmick, but what they morphed into exceeded all expectations, and it was just three buddies having fun, and it translated through the screen, and they made a lot of money off merch, and they had almost every accomplishment you can have as a tag team and as a singles single stars. Woods was the king of the ring. Kofi won WWE Championship. Big E won WWE Championship. These guys, they weren't supposed to be in that spot, and they exceeded all expectations. Nothing but props to those guys. But at the end of the day, it's time. 18 years Kofi had, and I think Woods had 16 or maybe 15 years. There's nothing else that you could have done with them. Where do you think Kofi and Xavier land from here?
Well, I think that by all intents and purposes, the online discourse seems to point them towards AEW. I think AEW does have the most healthy tag division. However, let's be honest. The Hurt Business went over there and they got over. And now what's the Hurt Business doing? But currently, the tag team division at the top is FTR and Edge and Christian.
Oh, Kofi
So,
Christian.
oh yeah, excuse me. So what exactly? Like, I need to know what they're gonna do with the New Day once they get them, because if it's just gonna be a couple matches with the Young Bucks and then they're shoved on Collision, is that really that much better? Because I feel like those guys could go to TNA, and I know everybody hates TNA because they call it WWE Light, but I feel like those guys could go to TNA and be the biggest stars in the arena when TNA is there. And I feel like with AEW, they're just never going to be the top of the line guys. They may get a world tag title, run or two, but I just don't think AEW is going to put enough into their stock.
I can just picture it now, Micah. They show up. They'll probably have a mandatory, fed bad, free from the shackles promo. They'll interact with Cope or Omega, like a Jericho, maybe Orange Cassidy. They'll interact with, and they'll probably face some vanilla little people on Dynamite, and then they'll feud with the Bucks, and then they'll feud with, like you said, FTR, find the remote, and then after that, Collision Purgatory. I can just picture it now. That's the layout. That's the blueprint.
And I just can't. I can't want that for these guys, because when Shelton and Bobby got there, they were so over. They were one of the things I was tuning in for, and then it was like, well, you got too over for us. And I know they got hurt, and that kind of derailed a couple things. But now, like you said, Collision Purgatory. And despite what Meltzer wants you to believe, Brian Alvarez will tell the truth about it. Over half the people that watch Dynamite don't watch Collision, and I would be included in that half. Because until I see something that makes me want to tune into Collision instead of Orange Cassidy and Roderick Strong chicken fighting, I'm going to stay on Dynamite.
And, it's a shame, too, because Kofi and Xavier, they still can go. And my fear is when they get to AEW, which I'm sure we all know that's where they're going to land, that they could be doing so much more, and they're just going to be, doing the layout that we just gave them. And if they went to like a TNA or anywhere else, MLW, they still run shows. They would be treated like such way bigger stars and use way more of what they should be, how they should be being used. You know what I'm saying, Micah? Like Woods can be world champion, man. Look at Woods. Woods has everything. That's one of the ones that I hate that he never got that real solo run on the main roster.
Yeah, because he has all the tools. And I mean, I'm sure me and you have been fans of him since freaking Consequences Creed all the way back in the TNA days. So
yeah.
I just think that, again, it's kind of what do you want from the New Day when they leave? Do you want them to just be another team in the AEW tag division, and they may tell a story or two here a year, and then, like you said, Collision Purgatory. And I'm not saying that is where the New Day should be. I'm just saying, like you said, we've seen the formula. Or would you rather go to TNA be the world champion, maybe be a 2-man power trip type deal. Let Kofi get the X division, something in there. And, maybe it's just a different flavor, but only time will tell.
I've been seeing people online, fantasy book, what they joined the Hurt Business. Like, are we still doing that?
Here we go.
Are we still doing this?
It's the final. Matter of fact, this is the final, chapter of that, right? The Hurt Business and the New Day join together to be the be all end all group for all black talent.
Hey man, that would get over. You're joking, but that'd get over.
I mean, it would get over. It's just funny that now they
As
can finally
always.
combine the two.
Yeah, we just got to put those guys together. I don't know why. They just seem like they belong together,
No reason.
Yeah, no reason why. It's very interesting too, Micah, because when Kofi, he sent out a tweet a couple days ago, and he did not thank WWE whatsoever. So maybe Kofi has a chip on his shoulder. He wants to go prove something. But we move on, Micah. The WWE pay cuts, Micah. I don't know if you heard about this. Been making his rounds on all of social media, but apparently this is the newest update. This comes from Fightful Select. I think it was Sean Rossap, but he wrote on the day of the mass releases, WWE approached numerous talents and asked them to take pay cuts in order to remain with the company. Several of them that we heard of were given 2 days to make that decision. And Micah, I gotta get your thoughts on this. What do you think about the supposed 50% pay cuts that a lot of the talent in WWE have been given no choice to take over the last couple weeks? What do you think about that?
I think that's kind of crazy. Listen, I understand cutting the crop if again, I'm not advocating for anybody to lose their job, but people complain all the time. WWE's main event scene needs to get younger. They cut some of the guys that are stuck in the middle, and then it's, oh, well, how could you do that to those guys? So I understand doing that. Cutting the pay, though, for an already agreed amount, basically telling a guy that you're going to do the same amount of work, but for less money. It's just a crazy thought to me, especially whenever you're doing record gates and you're making all this money and you got all the advertisements and you're paying Ari Emanuel $47 million a year. That's a little absurd. But yeah, I also saw, and I'm not sure if you were going to bring this up, Ryan, that somebody agreed to it. Apparently a top star agreed to it. I'm not sure who you think it would be, but I think his first name starts with an S and his last name ends with Allens.
Man, I don't know what to think about that. We don't even know if it's true. I'm finding it a little far fetched that they would ask a top guy to take a pay cut like that. So I mean, we'll just take it with a grain of salt. But did you see what Meltzer said about it on his I think it was radio show last night that he had? Did you hear what he said? Or did you read what he said?
No, I didn't see that.
Okay, I got like a little article that has this quote right here. Bear with me because this is Meltzer talking, so gonna be a lot of weird pauses in this. I know one guy in the situation talking about the WWE pay cuts. He could go to AEW. He could make a lot of money in AEW, but he did take a pretty big pay cut to stay. It's someone whose career was pretty much, the reason you be asked to renegotiate is because the contract you signed was when they perceived you as being far more valuable than they perceive you as being now. That's why they would renegotiate a contract. In the case of this person, it's someone who'd fit into that category. The reason was not that he's not good or not great, but they creatively didn't take advantage of what they had. I would say was the best way of putting it, but he accepted it. He didn't take the risk or whatever it is of going elsewhere, it's still a lot of money. And yeah, that's what Dave said on his radio show. So apparently he knows somebody personally that took the pay cut. They're
So I
telling
wonder if
Dave
that would
Meltzer,
be,
they're telling Dave Meltzer about their pay cuts.
yeah, because everybody loves to talk about how much money they make.
Yeah.
I wonder if that could be KO. Because the way he phrased it kind of sounded like it was a guy that was hurt.
I'm just still finding it a little far fetched, man.
I mean, it's all rumor and speculation, obviously, as is everything in
If
the wrestling rumor mill.
you know what I think it is, and I think we're gonna talk about it in another Scoop 5 category. But if it was the case that they went to a lot of talent and talking about pay cuts, I think they're not even worried about AEW at this point. Like they don't even care. And that makes
Yeah.
me think that AEW's about to those rumors about them losing their TV deal. There's probably a little more smoke to that fire. If WWE is going to multiple talents and telling them to take 50% pay cuts,
Walk.
or say that again.
Or walk. A
Exa-
50% pay cut
Yeah.
or walk to the
Yeah.
other company.
Yeah, so something's not adding up here. If one is right, then there's a little smoke to the other fire. But we'll move on, Mike. Unless you got anything else to add about these pay cuts.
Well, I mean, I didn't have anything directly to add, but I will say you just kind of brought up a point that I hadn't thought about, which was the gall of them to offer that to people as if they're not even worried that they could go to AEW. It kind of in a sense that like AEW, it doesn't matter if AEW gets this guy, they're not going to be able to touch us.
Yeah, no
I don't
matter
know
what
if
you pay.
that's
No matter what you pay for
I
this guy, but I mean, you're not in the same stratosphere.
yeah, I don't know if that's a flex or bad business, but only time will tell. We'll see. But Ryan, I'll let you go ahead to the next topic.
Yeah, the AEW TV deal, Micah. That's been a topic of conversations. Not a lot of people are talking about this as far as dirt sheets go, but I did see a couple of people talking about it. And the first one was CM Punk's agent. What was his name? Nick Piccolo. Lip
It's like
Piccolo.
low piccolo, something like that. I'm
Yeah,
not sure
yeah.
exactly.
Well, he went on he tweeted out some stuff randomly on like was it Sunday or Monday? It was one of those days. But he wrote to every journalist and every podcast who interviews Tony Khan from this day forward, please ask Tony if Warner Brother Discovery told him back in August they would not be renewing AEW. Warner Brothers Discovery told him in August, I confirmed it directly and triple sourced it. And he later wrote, please ask why Tony has been acting like nothing is wrong for the last 8 months. And then please ask Tony what his actual distribution plan is. Because the only distributor left that will take AEW is Google/YouTube TV. The My AEW app is not realistic. The My AEW app is a death sentence in 2026. If YouTube doesn't make a major deal for AEW, and it just cuts off right there. But yeah, that was the first thing that came out about it, Micah. And then there was another sports journalist that came out and kind of confirmed it that old Niccolo Piccolo was telling the truth, and that was from who is that? Hold on, Micah. I gotta pull up my notes.
Well, it's from John McMullen. It's
Yeah,
at JF McMullen.
there you go.
I think he's an Eagles beat writer, but essentially he wrote the article kind of furthering what you call him, Niccolo Piccolo's
Yeah, Niccolo Piccolo.
it's a catchy name. Kind of furthering his point. Now then Dave and Sean Ross Sapp had to come in and say, well, this isn't true, and we've confirmed this. So he did apply an editor's note after, which said that this was an updated version, which is the one you would find now, of the story with denials from both AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery that any pre-sale information was provided to the wrestling company.
How are they so sure about that? Or not so sure about that, but totally sure that the 50% pay cuts happen?
That's a good point, and that's exactly why. Because I had some people, I made that video, and again, I didn't even say anything negative in the video. I was actually just talking about viable options for AEW in this event that this is true, right?
Yeah.
And oh my God, the
You getting buried?
AEW,
Were you getting buried for it?
they were trying to, and I was like, look, man, I'm not even trying to say anything negative. I'm just saying if this is true, here's what could happen. And ultimately, like I told this guy, all of this is rumor and speculation until proven true. The stuff that Sean Ross Sapp and all of them say is rumor and speculation until proven true. Because how many times have we heard things or no, this is not happening, and then this happens? Right here on the podcast, we told everybody that there's no way CM Punk doesn't return at Survivor Series in 2023, I think it was.
Yeah.
2020. Yeah. And every journalist out there tells you, well, there's no plans. But they didn't know. They didn't know that Triple H and all them were doing it behind the scenes. And they deny that now. They're like, well, no, there wasn't any plans for him made public, so there wasn't any plans. No, there was plans. You just didn't know about them.
And
So again, what's to say one guy has his sources right to say that the other guy doesn't have his sources right?
what exec at Warner Brothers or Paramount or whoever is the head honcho over there now? What? Who's talking to Dave Meltzer? Nobody's gonna say anything to Dave Meltzer. Nobody's talking to Sean Ross Sapp. So how can they be 100% sure that this is just a BS made up story?
So, I mean, that's essentially my point. You are just taking people for their word, and all you have is their word. And respectfully, Dave has been wrong before. Sean Ross Sapp has been wrong before. So why does everybody just assume that this is fact and gospel? I'm gonna wait to see how it plays out. And regardless of all that, the guy said, well, they have 12 to 16 months to renegotiate with Paramount for a new deal. That's what the guy said in the article. Dave then goes on his podcast with Brian Alvarez and says, well, yeah, they will have to talk with Paramount in 2027 and da 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 da. He said that. Now, Ryan, I wasn't exactly, I didn't take calculus my senior year in math class, but I'm pretty sure that 2027 is 12 to 16 months from now. So perhaps there's some truth somewhere in the middle here, because it sounds like to me that both sides are saying that they have to have a talk with Paramount to negotiate their rights going forward. And if that is the case, they've got two options. And that's what I talked about on the video. They've got YouTube and they've got Prime Video, because everything else has ties with WWE or TKO rather. So I don't know. I don't understand. It's no different than when you hear something from Woj, and LeBron James has on record said that Woj doesn't know what he's talking about with some of this stuff. So again, you have to know that some of these people are telling the truth and some of these people are not telling the truth. And all you can take them at is their word. But to treat one guy and one reporter's opinion as 100% fact is just ridiculous. The truth is somewhere in the middle of this story.
It's rather weird that the 50% pay cut story pops up right around the time that Niccolo Piccolo goes on his little rant about AEW might be losing their TV deal. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I'm worried about the future of AEW, man, because realistically, there's not a lot of options. I don't think Prime wants anything to do with them. I think the best bet, if I'm picking right now, I think YouTube TV is probably the best bet that you can get. And even then, I don't know how the advertisement would work, but I mean, we'll see. 2027 is less than 12 months, Mike. It's only 6 months from now, so we'll find out some new information, I'm sure, in the next couple months, and we'll just go ahead and clip this because I'm sure we'll be a lot of people gonna be eating crow, and we're gonna be playing the sound bites of us being right at the beginning. But we move on, Micah.
Well, I would like to add one more thing.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
We don't want to see AEW with no TV deal, by the way, because that's what everybody's gonna assume. Oh well, oh my God, guys, you guys just want AEW to shut down and not. No, I want them to have TV. I truly do. But I have to look objectively and say that this is a possibility. It is scary that Paramount is buying all of this stuff. It is scary that 3 major distribution networks are all we have in America anymore. For many reasons, not just wrestling. So we don't want AEW to shut down. We're just trying to figure out, hey, is there some truth to this? And if so, where do they go from here?
We're being realistic though, because even Nitro wasn't even on the air 7 years. Dynamite's going on 7 years, right? This 2020, it started in 2019.
Yep.
So they've lasted longer than Nitro. Why did I blank on Nitro, Mike? But it's getting late. So WWE had to leave USA at certain points. They didn't stay on USA the whole time. How many times did Impact change channels over the years? It happens. God. Yeah, it happens. So me personally, I don't think AEW will ever go out of business. They just probably won't have a TV deal, but Tony Khan is going to continue to book wrestling. He loves it too much. Now, whether or not they're going to be on TV, that's still up in the air, but AEW is not going anywhere. So if you love your Graps, if you love your MJF, your Adam Page, your Orange Cassidy's, they're not going anywhere. They're going to still be getting paid. You can still watch them. But as far as being on TNT, TBS, cable television as a whole, going into 2027, it's up in the air. And we'll see what happens. You want to add anything, Micah, or you want to just move on?
No, that's fine. We can move on to the next one.
All right. This one's kind of on the sadder note, Micah, but Rebel, Tania Eukes. Oh man, I hate that I'm probably mispronouncing her name, but Rebel. Everybody knows Rebel. In AEW, she went on social media to share with her followers that she was diagnosed with terminal ALS. ALS is a nervous system disease, kind of like what Lou Gehrig's disease. I think that's what it was called back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Shout out her, and we hope she kicks out. And AEW actually did like a pretty touching thing for her on Dynamite last week. So yeah, man. Shout out them, and hope she gets better. And yeah, we ain't Rebel haters here on the Scoop Slam Pod.
No, in all seriousness, man, there's people behind these wrestlers. So as much as we may, criticize their on-screen personality, this is a real life thing. And I saw that video, man, and that junk, I saw it before I went to work. That junk, it messed with me for a while. Just because, just everything that she's going through mentally and, trying to figure out what's wrong with her. And then you come to this conclusion and realize that ultimately, it has one end route, as sad as that is to say. So from the Scoop Slam podcast, man. I wish her. I'm praying for her and her family through this time. There's no way to navigate it, man. It's just it is what it is, and I pray that no matter what happens, they all feel comfort in the next months and years. But yeah, man, shout out her and shout out Tony Khan as well. She said in that video that Tony has like paid for all of the medical stuff, which I mean, that is what you should do as an employer. That is what you should do as a guy who has $1 billion. So shout out him, man, because that's not something everybody's gonna do, and that's not something that I could ever deal with. Is having something like that, like just mentally, and yeah, man, I just it's really hard to talk about. Like, I really don't know what to say. But regardless, I'm praying for her and her family through this rough time.
Yeah, shout out her Rebel. Moving on, Micah. Moving on to the next, probably a lighter scoop right here. I don't know if you're aware of this, Micah, but as of last week, Athena, your favorite, has officially equaled Bruno Sammartino's second reign as WWF champion of 1,237 days. Do you have any
That's
thoughts about
crazy.
this, Micah? Is it big deal, small deal, medium deal? What do you think?
I just wish, they would do something with her on the main show. But, you know,
Is
some
there
things never change.
is there literally nothing going on in the women's division in ROH? How is that possible?
I have to admit, even if there was, I don't know what it
If a
is.
tree falls in the forest, nobody's around. Does anybody know it's
Yeah.
there? Yeah, I get you. It's insane. When I saw that stat, I could not believe it. But yeah, she's been down there. She being Athena for a long time now. She's supposed to be the next big game changer that came in, Micah, and she's pretty much been ROH purgatory for 5 years now. So I hope she's happy with doing that. I'm sure she's getting paid well, pal. But yeah,
Yeah,
Athena.
and I mean, she came up to the main roster and had a good match with Mercedes. But this year, from what I can see on Cage Match, she's had approximately like 7 to 8 matches, not even all of which are in Ring of Honor.
Do they run shows like independent of Dynamite?
I don't think so, but again, I mean, I
No,
could
they
not tell
do.
you for
They
sure.
have those like marathon tapings, and they tape like 4 or 5 shows back to back to back. I think I
Oh,
saw
you're right.
they drew like 1,200 people at one of their last show. Micah, how is my high school football team? How are they drawing more people than ROH? How is that possible?
Well, again, when you don't put any stock into it,
Eh,
when there's nobody online telling me, "Oh man, Athena and this person are just having a barn
This
burner in Ring of
person
Honor. You guys gotta check this out."
get. I got a gun to your head, Micah. Name me 3 ROH women's wrestlers.
Athena, Billy
No, can't
Starks,
count. Can't count
and
Athena. She's the champ. Can't count her.
okay, Billy Starks,
All right,
Deonna Purrazzo,
you looked it up.
and no,
Okay,
right, yeah, yeah.
bang. I I don't know who's over there. Is Thunder Rose over there? She's got to be right.
Oh, good guess. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I think she signed a dual contract with CMLL so she get booked. But yeah, regardless, shout out Athena. Her reign continues. Her reign will continue until morale improves. And Micah, that will conclude the Scoop 5. And where you want to take us from here, Micah? This is your show.
Well, it's probably our longest Scoop 5 to date, but when you take 2 weeks off, you got a lot to talk about. Um, we will move to AEW Dynamite. Not a ton to talk about from this show, but one match I wanted to highlight was for the TNT Championship, a little mini feud they've been telling here. We got MJF versus TNT Champion Kevin Knight. I thought this was a pretty good TV match overall. Both guys are some of the best AEW has to offer right now, especially in ring wise. I was a little worried the longer it went, how they would stick the landing because the story they started telling was Kevin Knight sprained his knee, which Kevin Knight is obviously a high flyer, so that kind of takes away much of his arsenal. And I thought, man, if the guy's hurt and he's facing a world champion like MJF and MJF's a heel, how are we going to get out of this where it doesn't look ridiculous that MJF doesn't beat this guy? But I thought that they did it well with the flash finish, with the low blow because MJF was trying to cheat, which again, you get excused, even though Kevin Knight is a babyface. MJF was trying to cheat. That got a big pop, got into a roll up, and he got out of there basically by the skin of his teeth. So I liked the finish here. I liked the match overall. Ryan, I'll let you talk about it, or if you had any pointers, and then we can get to the aftermath.
Do they use that roll up finish a lot in AEW lately? Or it's just me?
Well, I feel like they used it with Tony Storm and Marina Shafir, but that's the only one I can remember off the top of my head.
Well, Darby rolled up MJF in that match they had a couple weeks ago. Did a headlock
When he won the
takeover.
belt.
Yeah, he did a headlock takeover into a roll up.
Oh, well, that's a little different because he kind of
Oh.
squashed him before.
Do you think that MJF takes too many losses to be a generational talent? 'Cause, man, you can talk about, everybody hated Super Cena and Roman Reigns, but they didn't take losses like this. It just doesn't feel right that MJF is taking all these losses, and no disrespect to Kevin Knight, but Kevin Knight is not on MJF's level. I don't care how hard they're trying to push him at the moment. It just doesn't pass the smell test, Micah. I've seen his promos. He's a heck of an athlete, really good athlete, but I just don't know who Kevin Knight is, and I don't think what they've been portraying on TV is worth beating your top star, as in Kevin Knight beating MJF. I just didn't like that, Micah.
I think that it can work in certain instances with MJF being a heel. Like Dominic Mysterio loses a lot, but he's also not your top guy. So I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I believe MJF has taken about 3 losses this year, which would be no, not Andrade. I'm sorry.
But it's May.
Brody King.
It's May. He has 3 losses already. They're decisive losses too. Got squashed.
That is more my issue. So he lost to Brody King, he lost to Darby Allin, and now he's lost to Kevin Knight. And there may be another one in there I'm forgetting, but I think that's it off the top of my head. What bothers me about this is I'm fine with the Brody King loss. That was good for what it was. He squashed him, like it meant a lot, right? But then we do the same exact thing with Darby Allin, and that I do not care for. Now, I understand why they did it, and they're trying to get this, they're trying to build up a Darby singles run, and we can kind of talk about that after the fact. But I don't think that it need to happen. So if we're talking about a 2-loss resume with Brody King and then Kevin Knight, okay, maybe I got you. Because you can build up new stars like Kevin Knight by getting meaningful wins against MJF. I thought they wrote it off well here, and it didn't bother me that much because, like I said, it was not a false finish, a flash finish. But at the same time, I'm still just not sold on Darby being world champion right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Also, I believe the match that MJF Yeah, before he came back and won the world championship, he also lost to Mark Briscoe. Now that was September of last year, but nonetheless, that is
He loses a
4.
lot.
Yeah, he's been. I would like to say that he's probably taken around 10, maybe not 10, maybe 5 to 7 losses in a year's span.
Yeah, to a guy like Kevin Knight too. I don't think it need to go 20 plus minutes.
I enjoyed it, like I said, and I don't mind him losing to Kevin Knight, but I'm still just not sold on Darby
You
and the
find
way
with
Darby won.
Kevin Knight hanging in there with MJF for 20 minutes.
Well, I mean, he's a TNT champion. He's the future of AEW.
Yeah, one more thing about that. Are you seeing that? You see a
I think he
future of the
needs a little
company?
bit more. I think he needs a
He's
little bit more development in terms of, like you said, like telling me who he is as a
how,
person and Mike.
well, how is he? He needs more time to develop Micah, but they put the TNT title on him and they give him a world title match next week. That'd be like them bringing up Miles Bourne and Miles Bourne becoming Intercontinental Champion out of nowhere, and then Miles Bourne getting a title shot against Roman Reigns the next week. You know,
I mean,
do you see where I'm coming from here?
yeah, I guess when you put it like that.
Yeah, the guy needs.
But I
You see,
do. I think Kevin
you're
Knight's a little further ahead than Miles Bourne.
you're advocating for him to develop more, but they're literally pushing him like he's ready now. He's not. I don't even think he's ready for NXT TV, man. His promos they are subpar. I still don't
Come
know
on
who
now, you've seen some of those NXT promos.
I think it would fit right in if he was on that show. He's a heck of an athlete. I'm not taking that away from him. He can do a lot of moves, do a lot of flips, but I don't think that guy's ready for prime time. And I still hate that Brody King couldn't have taken the title off MJF a couple months ago. Still salty about that, but yeah, I don't. I'm just very down on the direction of the main event scene right now.
I just would have rather had, like you said, Brody King be world champion than Darby. And I was real high on Darby at one point, but that kind of leads me to my next point, Ryan. So next week, obviously, like you mentioned, we've got Darby Allin versus Kevin Knight. We're not really going to talk about Darby versus Brody King. It was fine, but I knew what it was. I have 2 questions about the aftermath, Ryan. Are you as sick of open challenges as I am?
Well, hold up now, pal. I brought that up to you 3 weeks ago on the pod, and you looked at me like I was had steaming turds hanging out of my mouth when I said I'm open challenged out. But now you're on the
Well,
bandwagon.
I am because we had the United States Championship Open Challenge, and that was fine and it was fun. And it honestly carried SmackDown at the beginning of the year. But now we've got the Darby Allin Open Challenge, essentially, which to me, Open Challenge just screams lazy booking. Now we got the Oba Femi Open Challenge, which to me, again, screams lazy booking. And it's just like, man, like I'm
Well,
so sick of the babyface champion just
hold up.
willing to defend their championship every week.
Well, hold up now. Did you watch SmackDown? Did you watch all the show?
Come on
Would
now.
you zip zap through it? Look, so there was a promo segment with Tiffany Stratton, and I kid you not, Micah. If I'm lying, I'm flying. My feet ain't left the ground. She had a segment where she was talking about she is going to bring back the open challenge. I I'm not lying to you, Micah. I could not.
Oh
I just
my
I just
God.
I just laughed. There's just no way she's bringing back the open challenge. And next week, Kiana James is gonna be answering the open challenge for Tiffany Stratton's new U.S. title that she just won.
Great. So 3. We had 1 and now we have 3. My God, man. It's just lazy. It's
Lazy.
so lazy.
Yeah, it is.
And it'd be one thing if it was like, okay, just the Oba Femi Open challenge, and I think that would actually bother me. But if it was like, okay, Darby's just a fighting champion doing the Open challenge, but when you've got 3 right now across the major platforms, it's a little absurd. And honestly, it kind of feels like Miles Bourne is doing a little bit of the same thing in NXT. So, yeah, regardless of that, I'm assuming that this is building up to an MJF Darby Allin match at Double or Nothing for the AEW World Championship. Darby is asking MJF to give up something. What do you see MJF putting on the line in his rematch?
Maybe the diamond ring. He still has that, right?
Yep.
Maybe we'll just take that from him. I don't see anything else that Darby might want. Um,
Could you see him doing the same stipulation that Adam Page fell into?
oh God. No, I don't think so. You just did that stip. I don't see them doing that again. I don't know though. It's something. I don't know if I want to see that match again, but they're building to something on that show. Like you can't tell. I was not a big fan of Dynamite this week.
Thought it was okay in some parts. I didn't need to see the
Well, it's no
Cope and
NXT.
Cage tag match for 20 minutes.
It's no
I'm at a
NXT.
lull. There's a reason right now that I watched the New Japan pay-per-view and I watched the AAA show because I'm trying to find something to catch my interest. And right now, AAA seems to be the one that my eye is beholden to.
We will definitely check out that mask versus mask match in AAA
Oh,
coming up.
oh yeah, pal.
We
And
might review it on the show. Stay tuned. We might review it.
we will. We're gonna be checking out La Catalina versus La Flammer too.
Oh, okay. You're a big fan of that,
It's gonna be interesting.
huh? Okay.
She's the longest reigning women's champion
She
down
who?
there.
She who?
Flammer.
Oh, okay. All right. Now I don't know. I don't know who the champs down there in AAA right now. Is
You haven't been checking
Vikingo?
out the
Oh, Taker. No, I ain't checking out Taker's promotion. How crazy is
oh
that?
come it is crazy. It's actually pretty. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's actually pretty good. They got the cruiserweight champ right now. That's Laredo Kid. Vikingo actually lost to Mini Vikingo this past week.
Is that his brother?
I don't know if it. I would
Somebody said that was his
assume
brother. They said that was his 17-year-old brother. Is that true?
they did say on commentary he was 18, and they're announcing a new general manager.
What do you think that is, JBL? How funny would that be?
He's campaigning for it.
How hilarious is that?
Oh, I think that would be a funny full circle. Yeah, it says that that is his actual
Brother?
yeah,
Somebody said he was 17, man. Like, what are
he
the work
is.
for? So they let 17-year-olds wrestle in Mexico like that?
I guess. I mean, shoot, they let freaking
Okay,
Brody Lee Jr.
look what type of show they were at though.
Oh my God, he was born in 2008. He was born after SmackDown versus Raw 2006 released.
Is that your benchmark for saying how old somebody is?
No, 2008 to me is just a weird year where, like, I guess everything just makes sense of occurring. Like, I don't know how to explain that in my mind, but it's like, oh yeah, that was 2008. So to be born in 2008 that's crazy.
Yeah, just doesn't seem right. Especially when you work
Yeah.
beside somebody that was born in 2008.
Yeah, I get looks for being born in 2002 at the moment,
Yeah,
but
I'm like, I got socks older than you, kid. What are you doing?
yeah. But we'll move on to Friday Night SmackDown. You talked about it a little bit, but we really had one takeaway from this. We got the debut of Ricky Saints. He came
Oh
out
my. Yeah,
to interact with Cody in a promo segment, and I felt so bad for him, man. He got no reaction when he came out. And I think he can get a reaction, but they need to keep giving him a mic, and I'm worried that they won't.
All the Ricky haters were eating so good on Friday, Micah. It wasn't even funny. I don't know if you pay attention to the negative backlash this guy gets every time he has a segment. It's just, what did he do? Are we watching the same thing? Like, you would think that he cut that Roman Reigns suffering succotash promo on Friday. The negative backlash that he got coming out of that segment with Cody Rhodes. Like, I just thought it wasn't a bad segment. He was fine in it. But the crowd wasn't hot for him or the segment in general. But I don't necessarily put down Saints. I just put that on Tulsa, Oklahoma.
I say the crowd really wasn't hot for a whole lot on the entire SmackDown.
Yeah. So man, it was so much negative backlash. Did you see any of that, Micah?
I did somewhat online because the people like to dunk on him because he came from AEW, and people really convinced themselves that they did right by Ricky, and it's Ricky's fault that he never got over, as if he didn't have the most push pull booking
Yeah,
in the world.
start and stop booking from Ricky. Bro, it was people saying, "Oh, every time AEW gave Ricky the ball, he couldn't run with it." Like, what? Every time you gave him the ball, you took him out in the second quarter and iced him out the rest of the game. I
Yeah.
still remember that back and forth he had with MJF, that promo segment where people were saying, these are the two guys you should be building the company around. This is your Rock and Austin right here." And it's like people just forgot about that, or people just the spite for Ricky leaving the company. It's a very weird. Ricky has a lot of weird haters online.
Yeah. I don't really know what it is. Like, the thing is, he came in with Team Taz, and he had a feud with Hobbs that to me didn't get enough build. It just immediately started and then was over with. And no, but I don't think either guy came out of it for the better. Then, like, over the summer, he got a push on Punk's Collision. I think he beat CM Punk. He won the Owen Hart Cup.
He did, and he had a great match with Daniel Bryan, like the strap match.
Yeah.
Great match.
One of the best matches that year. And then coming out of that, they didn't do anything with him. Later on, he had a tag team with Big Bill, and just when he started to get over, they
Yeah, that was entertaining.
iced him out. So, like, again, as much as they want to say, oh, well, Ricky just couldn't get over, like, yes, he had a couple championships and a couple accolades, but every time he started getting some momentum, oh, all right, come to the bench. We gotta sub somebody in real quick. So
Yeah, we gotta put this Jay White promo on the show. Like, I just don't get it, man. People continue to love to dunk on Ricky Saints, and that just don't sit right with me. Especially because we met the guy, nice guy.
yeah,
And
very nice guy.
yeah, he'll always be a favorite here on the pod. Every time he's on the screen, I pay attention. I think he's really charismatic. And even if we didn't meet the guy, he's still a talented performer. If you don't see that, then you're just hating for no reason. But yeah, they had it was an okay match. I'm not gonna lie to you, say you have to check out that Cody Rhodes Ricky Saints match. It was fine. The crowd wasn't hot for it, and Cody won clean. But I don't think necessarily it's a bad thing because Carmelo Hayes, literally the same exact thing happened to him. His first night on SmackDown, he got beat by Cody Rhodes, and whether you like it or not, Carmelo Hayes is in a pretty decent spot on SmackDown. I'm sure Ricky will have the same type trajectory. He's gonna get over. Just keep on giving him a mic. He can be one of your best promo guys you got in the company. We've seen it.
Yeah. I think he has a higher ceiling than Carmelo, though, simply
Oh
because
yeah.
he can actually talk. I'll give
yeah.
Carmelo the nod in the ring, but
Ricky's gonna talk you into the building.
100%. And the match, like you said, was pretty much what I expected. I will say that after the fact, we had the Gunther run-in, which looks to be our next matchup for the WWE Championship, Gunther versus Cody Rhodes. I I like the feud, but I do have one issue here. Why couldn't they just let Gunther cause the match to go to no DQ, or cause the match to go to a DQ, or just end up helping Ricky win? Because I feel like in that instance, Ricky comes out better for it. I don't love it's the same way at AEW. I don't love the guy comes in and loses on his first night.
But I will say this: they are kind of running the same type of angle on Raw if they did that, because Rusev has been getting involved in Penta and Ethan Page's match, and Rusev cost Penta the match, and Ethan Page won. So you kind of would be running like a rehash on like in the exact same week. So I can see where they were coming from, and I don't think it hurts Ricky necessarily. It is the world champion, and he didn't look out of place in there, and
Yeah.
he took a heck of a crossroads too.
Oh yeah, that was a nasty impact way he landed on his neck. But
Yeah.
we'll move on. Raw rolls on, and we do too. To start us off, we've got the Oba Femi Open Challenge. Now, we already had our discussion about open challenges, so no need to rehash that. But the answer to the open challenge was none other than Alpha Academy's Otis.
It's always hilarious to me that Otis continues to stay over. How is this guy? He just finds a way to stay over.
Well, look at him. I mean, he's just
How can you boo that guy?
that's what I'm saying. Like, he's just eye catching, man. I think they really could have had something with him a couple years ago in the Chad Gable feud.
Yeah.
And he's very charismatic. Now, I will say this. I wanted to dunk on this so bad because I really hate the open challenge direction with Oba because it feels lazy. But not only that, man, I like Otis, but I don't need to see Oba involved in the hokiness. Though I did somewhat have to laugh when Tozawa sized up with him. But this absolutely ruled because, oh my God, Oba Femi is must see TV. It really doesn't matter who he's in there with, and this kind of solidified it for me. That close, or I don't even know what you call it, the torpedo uppercut. Oh my God.
It was a European uppercut, and let me add on, the crowd was hot for this match, bro.
Yeah,
They
they were hot
were
all night, but they love Oba.
yeah, they love Otis.
Yeah, that's true. And it went like 2 minutes, which was exactly as long as it needed to go. But oh my God, man. If you didn't see anything from this week, watch this like 2 minute match because it's just the prototypical squash match. Oba looks like a freaking unit. The uppercut was 100 miles an hour. Hits the fall from grace, hits the I don't even know what we had a name for it, but I guess the beanbag toss or whatever you want to call it. Oba's a
He tossed
stud,
him like
man.
he tossed him like a slice of pizza. But I kind
Yeah.
of did wish he did like the little last ride thing on the fall from grace. I don't think he could get Otis above his shoulders, but it would have been cool to see. One nitpick here, Micah. We ragged on the open challenge, but wouldn't this have been so much better if this was the lead up to WrestleMania? Like him just squashing
Yeah.
guys every week. Wouldn't that have been a better lead up?
Yeah. Then you
Like
could have
why are we
actually
get
given him a feud coming out of this.
yeah, why are we giving them squash matches now? And having the squash matches be open challenge? Why would you take the open challenge?
After he beat Brock Lesnar.
After he
Who's
beat
smart
Brock
enough?
Lesnar. Yeah. So I think, this is gonna be fun for a little while, but he needs to start feuding with somebody because he still has not had a real feud on the main roster. I'm not even gonna count the Brock thing because that was more of an attraction match. That wasn't really a feud. But yeah, this great squash match. It did what it had to do. Crowd was hot for it. And yeah, if you didn't watch anything from Raw, check out that little 2-minute Oba Femi Otis match.
Yeah. But we move on to the main event segment, which was our World Heavyweight Champion, the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu signing the contract for Backlash this weekend. I always love in these contract signings that Roman manages to sit at the head of the table. I always think that's just a nice nod.
Well, of course. Where would you sit,
But,
pal?
oh, well, I would sit on the side because I'm not the Tribal Chief.
Fair point.
But I like this feud going into it. I think that they have done a pretty good job to build it up quickly because it really writes itself. Obviously, the family stuff always plays an element, and it pisses me off that Roman can be this much of a great storyteller with his family, and then you remove that, and he's not there, man. He's a system player, and if it ain't his system, he's not in it. But with this, man, it's the tribal chief, the guy that's trying to like Roman said, provide for the tribe. He's trying to lift everybody up. You know, rising tides lifts all ships. But Jacob was kind of the guy that was shunned by the tribe. He wasn't, he's the guy they don't really talk about. He's a delinquent. He's not, you know, for the family, but he's for his family. So for that reason, I think this match will be very interesting. I also think them adding the Tongan death grip into this is an element that I was not expecting. And we'll talk a little bit about the match later, but I'm interested to see how it has an effect on the match at Backlash. At
Backlash. Hey, I think it's hilarious how it's basically just Roman getting snatched up every week.
Yeah.
Like it's just every time he just goes on a little tirade on Jacob, Jacob just snatches him up by the throat.
And he wasn't even trying to go for anything else. He locked it in like 4 times.
Yeah, and Roman sold it like a champ too. He put over the death grip. So, yeah, that's like you said, they've heated it up in a hurry. This is the most anticipated match at Backlash, and I'm very interested to see how the match gets booked because I don't think either guy is a loss right now. So it's gonna be very fascinating to see how they book this match. You think we get maybe a Zilla Fatu, Mike? I've been hearing some rumblings.
God.
I've been hearing the rumblings. You know, people love Zilla online.
They've been rumbling for a long time.
He's a nice guy. We've met him. Well, we've been around him.
We passed him on the sidewalk.
I thought it was a fan.
Dude, he had a posse with him.
I know, man. He looked like a fan though.
He did. He wasn't far off from my height. But I mean, he would fit like if he was kind of like Jacob's underling, I could see it. But yeah, I thought it was a good segment. The crowd was really hot for it. So again, that kind of helped this entire Raw because I thought in some moments it really like the first hour I was kind of like, ugh. But the last hour with Oba and this I thought was actually pretty solid. But we'll move on as long as you're ready, Ryan, for the Backlash at Backlash predictions.
Backlash.
Gotta do the Rob Van Dam at Backlash.
At Backlash.
Oh man, well, we're having too much fun. It's time to lock in on. I can't even say interesting card. A card of all time.
It's happening, whether we like it or not. We got 3 WWE Premium Live events in the next 4 weeks.
And that probably explains why this is the state of things at Backlash. But we've got Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker in a regular old singles match.
This could be good. Braun Breaker needs this marquee win. He hasn't had one. I think he gets it right here against Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I know Seth just lost at Mania, but Braun needs it more. I don't think this is the last we see of this either.
Oh man, keep on going.
Yeah. Well, we'll move on to the next match. For the United States Championship, we've got Trick Williams with your favorite Lil Yachty versus Sami Zayn.
All right. This could be all right too. I'm going with Trick here. I think he just won the title. They're not going to put it back on Sammy this soon. And if they do, maybe I can see maybe a double turn happening, but that's far fetched. So I'm going Trick Williams here.
Yeah, I think you got to keep riding with the hot hand. I highly doubt to take it off of him.
It's so interesting. He's finding it every single week. He's got it. Trick Williams. To see him evolve in front of our eyes as like Carmelo Hayes's, jabroni bodyguard to now being he could be the top guy for the next 10 years and I wouldn't blink twice about it. He has it.
And it's funny because years ago, we said that Trick could get there one day, but right now, he still had so many elements to get to, ways to improve on his game. And since then, he went to TNA, he stuck around in NXT for a couple more years, and now you see basically I won't say the final evolution, but a more refined Trick Williams, and it's really paying off.
Yeah.
But we move on to somebody that a lot of people, myself included, thought, maybe WrestleMania was missing her. Io Sky versus Asuka.
This is the thing that everybody wanted on WrestleMania, right?
So they say.
It's not what I wanted, but do you think there's any chance we get a Kyrie Sane and the R-Truth type moment in the black hoodie? You think that happens?
I think that would be a funny full circle moment, but no, I think Kyrie's done.
It's funny how those "We Want Kyrie" chants disappeared after one night.
Oh,
What
yeah.
happened to all the performative outrage, Michael? What happened to that?
It's only it's when it's convenient.
You remember those "We Want Cross" chants that showed up for that one night?
That was the most mass hysteria thing I've ever seen in my life.
What's he done since then?
Couldn't tell you. I think he's an MLW.
Okay. All right. Shout out him. But
Yeah.
what match are we on? Oh, Io and Asuka. I guess we'll go Io because I'm sure they want to give her a little token win here since she wasn't on WrestleMania. So yeah, Io will be Asuka. With help from Kyrie Sane. I'll call it here.
Oh Lord. I don't see any other
pay cut, Micah. She took the pay cut.
It was her the whole time. It's me, Austin.
She signed the contract right there on Backlash.
At Backlash. I'm also go Io here. I don't really see any reason that Asuka should win this. But next up, the real main event, Danhausen and a to-be-announced partner versus The Miz and Kit Wilson.
The real main event, huh?
Yeah. Hey, I predicted this. I was just one pay-per-view off.
That's right.
I'm not wrong, just early.
That's right. Are we taking prediction of who the partner is or just which side wins?
Let's do both. Let's do the partner first.
Okay. Well, if it's a surprise partner, the surprise always goes over. So Danhausen's team will win, and the partner will be CM Punkhausen. We're gonna get it, Micah. We're getting it at Backlash.
You stole my pick, so I'm gonna give a number 2 pick here. But I also, anything that comes out of that was my pick.
That's crazy.
Anything that comes out of a box is over, and Anybody that comes out a surprise has to win, unless it's the Royal Rumble. So I'm gonna go with my earlier prediction. We're getting Jelly Roll, buddy, and
Oh
you're gonna like
no.
it, pal.
Are we sure? Didn't he do that? He's doing a concert with Post Malone, right? Pretty sure they're on
Oh,
tour together.
I think. Well, they canceled some of the early dates due to low ticket sales.
Oh man, they get TKO too with the ticket sales.
Yeah, they're gonna have John Cena be the opener,
Oh
and then
man,
it's gonna pick everything up.
you know what? You just said John Cena. You know he's gonna be there. You got? Are we gonna predict what he's gonna talk about?
Oh God, there's 23,000 people that paid generational wealth to be here tonight. Is there any chance? Is there any chance that his mystery partner is John Cena?
And 0.00 zero chance.
I know he
Uh,
retired,
he did. He don't even wear the
but you
jorts
think
no more.
people would be mad if he did help?
Well, there's a lot of Cena, meat riders out there, so I'm sure they would be happy to see it, but not me, pal. And I'm wondering what he's going to talk about, he being John Cena on the show, because he did announce
He
that he's
needs
going to be there, Mike.
He needs Cody to ask him,
Oh, all right.
what do you want to talk about?
What do you
Now, I
want?
think we get the announce of hopefully a Nashville WrestleMania, or
Oh no,
they're either planning that 43 or 44. But if
they're
they,
going to jinx us. You remember what happened last time they announced it?
oh
They announced
God, yeah,
WrestleMania in
you're
New
right.
Orleans. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, 43 is already in Saudi, so I guess it would have to be 44. But I heard that you know what you hear out there online. You hear that they were planning Nashville, then they moved it. Then Nashville apparently put in like a $6.5 million bid. So we shall see, but I could see that being announced at Backlash.
At Backlash. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'd rather it be. Well, I don't know, because Nashville ain't popping off, man. Nashville, I mean, it's a big city, but it's not really a big city, if you know what I mean. I mean, they got that one street. What's it called? Uh,
Broadway.
you said what?
Broadway.
Yeah, that Broadway. But other than that, man, is there anything else to do in Nashville?
Well, it's not really my cup of tea. You know, we've
Yeah,
been, but
I can't go back to
man, don't
Orlando.
don't
Let's go to
don't give
Orlando.
them
Come
any
on,
idea.
can't go to Orlando.
Hey, I
That's your
like
city.
Orlando.
That's your city.
That
You
is
you
my
can't pull some
city.
strings.
I'll see who I can talk to, man. I
All
got to talk to
right.
the guy that runs Orlando Informer, see
Okay.
if we can work a deal out.
All right.
But for the main event, we've got Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
I'll go Roman Reigns here.
I'm going to zig where you zag. I'm going Jacob
Wow.
because the
Yeah.
Tongan Death Grip feels like an interesting addition to me late
Mm,
in the game. Because
okay.
why would you give him this devastating move if he's not going to win? Now, I say that they could cheat him. And also, they removed Roman from some European dates in June.
Oh. Okay.
So
So
I'm
you can see it,
interested to see if maybe this was a long run and now they are quickly pivoting.
and you can see a pass out finish here with Jacob Fatu being the new world champion.
Yeah. And I don't think Roman really
Oh,
loses a whole lot by that. But I do think it's weird if you're CM Punk.
yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe Roman was just a transitional champion, if that's the case. But do you see Fatu dropping it after that to anybody anytime soon, or is it Oba Femi's at SummerSlam? Is it full steam ahead with that?
I don't know. It's a hard conversation to have because they also had a little face-off between Roman and Seth at the start of the show.
Well, that's always going to be
So
there. That match will always be there.
yeah, I just don't know. I don't know what their plans are too, because you've got Rock's retirement looming, and I feel like Saudi's willing to shell out the cash. So is it going to be Rock and Roman at in Saudi WrestleMania? Then I don't feel like that needs a belt.
Can you imagine Jacob Fatu and Oba Femi at SummerSlam?
Well, that's money. I'm there.
That is, yeah. I'm locked in.
So I could see it. Like I said, I don't think there's a wrong decision here. I'm not upset with either guy winning.
I think you swayed me. I'm going with Fatu with the tongue and death grip. I think that's a good point. That's a good little element that you brought up because they added that to the game, and Roman can have like a pass out finish here with the tongue and death grip. They've been selling it like it's a devastating maneuver. So I can see that happening.
Yeah. And I feel like if you bring it, like if he was just going to lose when I bring it in at all, you know what I mean? It would have been a fine match without the inclusion of that, with a good story. So
Yeah.
Only time will tell. Stay glued to our socials over the next couple days. We may or may not be live this weekend with Backlash, but it is Mother's Day weekend. So, make sure you spend time with your moms out there. Make sure, to take care of yourself over the weekend. Like I said, check out our socials at Scoop Slammed. We've changed our stuff, ladies and gentlemen. We're going through a little bit of a rebrand. So by the time you guys hear this, it is just at Scoop Slam now. We are just Scoop Slam, but you're listening to the Scoop Slam podcast. You're going to take care of yourself over the weekend and spend some time with your mom, and you're going to make sure to come back next week and check us out. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one.